So it's not long now before Hogwarts Legacy is released, and today we're going to cover a lot of the lesser known info that the majority of people do not know about. I have researched every single resource and detail available to find out as much as humanly possible about the game. We're going to be answering questions like, how do school classes play into the story, and therefore how much of this game is a school sim? How does the character and gear customizability work? How does the combat work? And we'll go into detail what all the spells do and how your toolbar also affects combat. Now I'm going to jump straight into this and get through it as efficiently as I possibly can for you, but remember that the video is timestamped to help you navigate to the areas you want to watch. Our first section is character customizability. Most people know by now that you can just choose the house that you want to go into when you enter Hogwarts. But for those people who want a more immersive experience, you can connect your Wizarding World account for those people who have already done it, or for people who haven't done it yet, where you will answer a questionnaire that will pick your house. You can also get some extra cosmetic rewards for doing this, like the house robes and the school mask, but doing this will not lock you to the house that you've chosen on your Wizarding World account. You can still choose whatever you want when you play the game. You will also be able to choose what wand you can use, but we're not 100% sure whether there's going to be a the wand chooses the wizard moment, although it is kind of hinted. There's 15 different face shapes. You can't make your own face like you can in a game like Oblivion. You can fully change your skin colour. There's 42 hairstyles, which you can change later because there's a barbershop in Hogsmeade. You can choose your own glasses, which is another thing that you can change later in game because you can collect different glasses in game. There's 35 different hair colours. You can fully change your eyebrows, your moles, freckles and scars. There's also the Loon in-game, which you can use to upgrade your gear. Now you can upgrade it with extra traits, and you can also upgrade its level. So things like decreasing your damage that you take from trolls. There's 3 upgrade levels, and when you upgrade your gear piece, it will also increase the armor stat, which is obviously going to reduce the amount of damage you take, and you upgrade it with materials that you unlock from... Well, so far we know that the beasts in the Room of Requirement give you this. We'll talk more about that later. Now, there's different quality items, very similar to what you would see in an MMO like World of Warcraft. So, green, purple and orange quality items, orange being legendary. And there's also a totally full transmog system, so you can change the look of a particular gear for something else. By the way, guys, if you found the video useful so far, please do help me out and subscribe to the channel. For the people that don't know, this is actually my second channel. I don't earn any money from making videos on this channel because YouTube does require you to get 1,000 subscribers before you can do that. So I am essentially making these videos for free, but in the future, if I actually get a little bit of an income from this channel, I'll be able to make more videos, because if making videos for this channel actually does pay the bills, I'm going to be able to spend more time on it. But anyway, enough codswallop, let's carry on. In the menu, we can also see a full equipped gear screen. You've also got your inventory, your collections, we've got lore pages, and apparently all of the lore is heavily based and accurate to J.K. Rowling's, obviously, lore and world building. There's also challenges that you can progress on in-game, which can be stuff like use a certain spell amount of times, or a certain combo, or a certain shield spell, or collect a certain amount of secrets, etc. And these will grant extra XP, so they're almost like mini-quests. There's also talent trees in the game. Now you've got your core wizard talents, you've got stealth, and the Room of Requirement. That's what's confirmed, but looking at the logos of the other ones, it's very likely going to be related to dark magic and ancient magic. We'll talk more about that later also. When you level up, you are granted 1 talent point, and this improves your spells in the areas that you want. So yes, you can build a full Dark Lore build. You can be Voldemort in this game if you so choose. Now, section 2, how does the world work? First of all, it is totally open world. Everything that you see in the game, you can probably jump on a broomstick and just go to it. We've got Hogwarts, interior and exterior, like the grounds and everything like that. We've got Hogsmeade and other various Scottish villages. We also know that we can get to the Forbidden Forest, but we don't know whether we're going to locations like Diagon Alley or the Ministry of Magic yet. There is fast travel in the game, working with a flue powder system. You can also fly around on a broom once you have unlocked that by doing the broom class. There's also animal mounts in the game, and we know that there's a kind of like an energy bar. And you consume the energy bar by basically going faster or going higher up, and this will get better when you upgrade your brooms. There's a broom shop in Hogsmeade to get better brooms that go faster. And you can also, I presume, by looking at it, you can customize how your broom looks. Actually, looking back at my notes, it is confirmed that you can customize your broom. You can also jump in the game, so climbing and parkour is very likely to be in the game. You can swim, but you can't go underwater. I've also got a mini-map in the game where you can see where all the side quests are that you can pick up and other stuff as well. We obviously also have the house common rooms. It's not confirmed whether you can sneak into other house common rooms though. Apparently the Hogwarts layout is very similar to the train station and obviously influenced by the books and the movies also. And it's also apparently colour graded so you don't get lost. There will be seasonal weather changes throughout the year as you progress through the story, and NPCs will respond to the environmental changes, so whether it's dark or light, NPCs will actually acknowledge that. Some interactions in the game, like side quests, will be locked by time, like you can only do a certain side quest when it's dark. It's also very likely that the storyline is taking place over one school year, so very much like one Harry Potter book. And the world also does not level to your character like it does in Skyrim. It's going to be more like Witcher 3, where you can go to these high level areas, you're not restricted to where you can go, but the enemies will be higher level in these higher level areas and you will get owned. So for our third section, we're going to talk about the main quest, side quest and collectibles. What do you actually do in this game? So the storyline seems to have a chapter system, very much again like Witcher 3, that you're going to progress through. You're going to progress through the main story, and this will also progress you through certain classes and side quests which will unlock extra items like gear, like better robes, better wands, and also unlock more spells. What we know about the story is that it's set in the 19th century and you are a student starting in your 5th year, so you're kind of behind all the other students, but you get a special book to help you catch up, and that is basically what your menu is in-game. And when you're unlocking and completing certain challenges, that's basically you using this magic book to gain experience points to get you caught up to all the other students in the 5th year. We also know that there's some certain goblin rebellion going on, and the main antagonist has taken an interest in your character because your character has some kind of weird, unique ability and affinity with this ancient magic. That's what we know so far. It's not much to go on. And this power of whatever this ancient magic is has a lot of big stakes attached to it because apparently it can tear the entire wizarding world apart. Don't really know what the developers mean by that, but I'm sure we'll find out. This is a totally forgotten magic. It's even been forgotten by the wizarding world. And we know that the main bad guys are going to be goblins and dark wizards, and probably a lot of menacing looking monsters. There's other objectives to do in the game that will progress your character. So, for instance, you can collect beasts. You can basically be Newt in the Fantastic Beasts series, because you can collect beasts and then put them into the Room of Requirement. There's lots of puzzles and secrets to unlock around Hogwarts that will also progress your character. It is also confirmed that there's going to be school classes in the game, and these will unlock you new spells and progress your character also. So we're talking potions, herbology, defense against the dark arts, charms, broomstick class, magical beasts, transfiguration, divination, astrology, history of magic, and ancient runes. So basically all the good stuff from the books, apart from Muggle studies, but probably great that that isn't in the game, to be fair. But I'm not confirming that it's not in the game. Who knows, it may be in the game. Now, we also do know that house points is not an important feature like it has been in previous Harry Potter games. This really isn't going to be a heavy school simulator game like the Bully games or anything like that. Now, there is choices that you will make during the main storyline and side quests that will change the outcome of quests and the overall story. So there will be different endings in this game, but however, there is no morality system. Like you can't, there's not going to be a red or blue meter like there is in games like Knights of the Old Republic, or you start growing horns or something like Fable. Again, I imagine it's going to be very much like The Witcher 3 when it comes to its interpretation of morality. There will be companions in the game, which do affect the story depending on which character that you want to spend the most time with. It's not confirmed whether there's going to be romance options yet, but each character seems to have a special affinity, like one of them specialises in herbology, one of them the dark arts, who will eventually lead you on a quest line to unlock the dark arts for yourself, which is optional, by the way. You don't have to be a dark wizard. I don't want to go into too much detail about that. You can find it out for yourself because I think it is a little bit of a spoiler. And then you also have lower tier companions that aren't story focused and you can just bring around you for combat purposes, kind of like how you can have a companion running around with you in Skyrim. Now, there are some original book characters featured in the game, but these are obviously going to be characters like ghosts, like Professor Baines or whatever his name is, or, Nearly Headless Nick. But there is also ancestors of characters that we know from the books, like one of the teachers is actually a Weasley. So what is a combat like in this game? Well, first of all, we know we have difficulty modes, so there's story, easy, normal and hard. We know that alchemy can play into combat, so you can make potions like health potions to get your health back up. There is actually a health bar in this game. And there's also something like a rock skin potion that has been teased at that will reduce the amount of damage you take, so like a damage reduction potion. And these are all on like a tool wheel, very similar again to The Witcher 3. I'm noticing many similarities to The Witcher 3. I mean, I could quite easily just call this game Witcher 3, but it's Harry Potter. Now, you've also got Spell Diamond, where you can use your main abilities, and there's obviously different colours, and these different colours are actually important. There's 20 possible combat spells, which you will unlock as you progress through the game. You're not going to get them all straight away. You also hold a button down to change between different spells on the diamond, so you can have 3 different presets. I think it's 3, or it could be 4 actually, of different spells that you can have, and you don't automatically have all of those spell diamonds either. Like as you progress through the game, again, you will get more spell diamonds. So essentially you can have multiple different loadouts with different situations that you can flick through very quickly in combat. We also know that there's an ancient magic meter which generates when you use more spells in succession without taking damage. Again, very similar to the adrenaline point system in The Witcher, and then eventually generate enough of this ancient magic meter, then you can use like a really good ability like a big lightning bolt, which apparently on the most part will one-shot enemies. We know that there's damage spells like Stupefy, stuff like that. You have shield spells, you have utility spells like Levicorphus, where, I'm probably pronouncing that very wrong, where you can levitate your enemy into the air and freeze them in place, or Paticavus Totalis. I'm butchering pronunciation of these words, I do apologise. And then there's also debuff spells, I know about that. And again, they are colour-coded, and that is for a reason. Enemies will have shields of certain colours. You will have to use your spells of a certain colour to then break the shield that they currently have up. There's also dodging and deflecting in the game. Basically a spider sense kind of wheel will appear above your head of a certain colour, and if you press the spell in time corresponding with whatever was around your head, then you will deflect the spell with a little stun spell, basically like Protego. Basically the game is going to have awesome dueling. You can also drop mandrakes and other plants to have certain effects like stunning enemies and things like that, so herbology will play into your combat, and they take a while to recharge before you can use them again. There's also these essential spells which aren't used for combat, but they'll be used for very key moments in the story. Like for instance using Reparo, or whatever the spell is called, to repair a bridge so you can progress to the next area, or unlocking a door. You can also stealth in the game. You turn yourself invisible and can sneak around and stun people with the spell I'm not going to attempt to pronounce again, but the icy spell. And now we're going to talk about player housing, because there is a big Animal Crossing styled feature to this game in the House of Requirement. You can customize your own space, like what furniture you want to use, the size of the furniture and all the colors and everything. The customizability of the Room of Requirement is very extensive. There's also this huge area that you will have, like there's kind of like a meadow for all the beasts that you could collect. And there is also an aquarium area for aquatic beasts. Now, these beasts will help you with your crafting. When you want to upgrade your gear, they will give you crafting materials. Now, the way to get them to give you crafting materials is, imagine the game being a little bit like a zoo sim. So you have to feed them, you have to pet them, you have to play with them, and then they'll love you, and then they'll give you stuff. And you can also customize the area. I've seen a little footage of a guy basically moving this really nice ruin of a ruined abbey. So there's probably a lot that you can do when customizing the beast area. And a lot of beasts are confirmed, like Thestrals and Hippogriffs, but again, I don't want to go through them all because I think that's a little bit of a spoiler. Now, there is also obviously a lot of very boring nitty-gritty stuff, like when is the game releasing on all generation consoles, system requirements, etc, etc. It can very simply just be answered by you looking at the FAQ on their website, which I will leave a link to in the description because, you know, every single video that I've found so far has already gone through it, so I imagine most people already know this information anyway. Anyway guys, my name is a Night Goblin, until my next video, ciao.